Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Voice Rising. And today we're going to explore the transformative power of voice, creativity, and courageous expression. I am in studio today with my guest, Berlin-based Norwegian artist Ira, a luminous singer-songwriter. Her work draws from the depths of lived experience and reaches towards something archetypal, a feminine soundscape that echoes longing, resilience, and fierce self-reclamation. With her newest album, I'll Stop When I'm Done, just released this past week, Ira invites us into a dreamlike terrain where sound becomes memory, identity is ever shifting, and vulnerability is a power source. These songs feel like scenes from forgotten films, moody, elegant, intimate, and they carry with them the whispered strength of women reclaiming their stories. So, Ira, I welcome you to Voice Rising.
Hi, what a nice welcome.
Yeah, hi.
Very nice.
It's beautiful to have you here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your
Nice
newest
here.
album is out?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, finally out. I'm
And
very excited, but also I feel like now's the real work starts now, right? It's like all the gigs and everything that comes after a release. But it's been good. It's been the feedback's been really, really good, and I personally feel very proud of this record, and I'm glad that it's out there, and it took a long time to complete, so that also feels like the release of it felt good because of that as well, to finally get it out, basically.
well, tell us about that. Tell us about that emotional journey that shaped the collection of these songs.
So I started writing for this album now, it must be about 3 years ago, and I also play music with this British band called Public Service Broadcasting, and the main person in that band, called Jay, he has a very different way of approaching songwriting than me. So I learned a lot from him, and him and I were talking, and he has this approach when he writes music to do a lot of research before he even touches an instrument. He reads a lot of books, he watches a lot of movies, and he goes into this theme that he wants to write about. And I never written like that because I always written from personal experiences or my, family or friends or whatever. I never like taking on like a character or taking on a story in that sense. So I found that was quite an interesting approach and very new and very right time for me to do that type of approach, because I feel on album, this is my third album, and I feel on the third album you kind of done enough that you're ready to explore and be maybe a bit uncomfortable on the journey.
Yeah.
So I decided, and at the time I was just watching loads of really beautiful black and white movies, and I was really fascinated by all of these female characters in these films. And you have like, the classics like with Marilyn Monroe, but also Audrey Hepburn and all of these movie stars, and then I started to read about their stories and how they were in their private lives and stuff like that. And then this kind of drew me into this whole world of, you could call it feminism, but for me, it was more like a celebration of women, and also this element of the contrast of having a woman that's viewed as this extremely successful and driven woman, but still she had to really prove her worth in her personal life because, for example, Marilyn Monroe, she was abused by nearly every partner she was with. She was abused by her mother, and she always had to continuously prove herself through her whole life. That was sadly also a very short life because of this. And that contrast I find very interesting. And then also like just this direct inspiration from these movies, like film, the dialogue in these movies is just so gorgeous, the way they talk to each other and the poetry in that. So that was like the lyrical and the story element of it that kept me, that started this whole journey. Because the whole album, because it's called I'll Stop When I'm Done, and that's from a Marilyn Monroe quote. She says, I won't stop when I'm tired, I only stop when I'm done, which I think is really a wonderful thing to say because it shows vulnerability, but it also shows that it's on my terms. And I think that's cool. And so that was kind of the lyrical side. And then the musical journey was slightly different because I wanted to go a different journey than what I did on my previous albums, which were, my previous albums are a lot more loud and epic sounding, you may call it. And on this one, I wanted to be a softer palette, have way more space in the music. And I set rules for myself with this album. I said, whenever I reach for the epic element, I need to step back and then to ask myself, why do I want to go there? And then I need to fix the core of that song so I don't have to do that to make the song interesting. And that was also vocally as well. I sang a lot softer on this record than my previous.
Is it true that you is it true that you recorded sitting or lying on your sofa?
Yeah. I sat on the sofa with loads of pillows behind me. Yeah. Because I find this element when you're in the studio and you go and you buy in the vocal booth and you go, I'm gonna sing now. For me, that feels so unnatural. Like I need a scene that's like more comfortable and less pressurized and less clinical to sing and perform in a way that feels natural to me. So yeah, that really helped me perform it in the right way, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, it's also fascinating because you feel this tender strength or this vulnerability that has a certain endurance, right? It's a very So I want to have everyone listen into the first track, which is I'll Stop When I'm Done. So the opening track of the album is the title of the album. Is there anything else you want to share with us about this first track?
Well, the opening track on the record is actually Celebrate.
Oh,
but
sorry about that.
But I'll Stop When I'm Done is one of the singles. So that's fine. That makes sense. Yeah, Celebrate's the first one. But you can also play I'll Stop When I'm Done first to start with that. That's totally cool.
Yeah. Just let's start with I'll Stop When I'm Done. And for everyone out there, start with Celebrate it first and then listen to I'll Stop When I'm Done. Exactly.
Yeah.
Here we go. was a quick ending. So
Oh,
sometimes.
that wasn't supposed to end like that.
Okay, I guess that's the
Doesn't
teaser,
matter.
you guys. That's the teaser.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
teaser.
just wondering. That was a
Teaser.
teaser. Go listen
Yeah.
to the track. I'll stop when I'm done.
Yeah.
I have Ira here in studio, and this is coming off of her newest album that just got released all around the world, right? World Wide Web and
Mhm.
worldwide. And I even saw you held a vinyl version
Yeah.
on social
Yeah.
media. So
Vinyls as
that's
well.
wow,
Yeah.
very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you did it. You're doing it all. You're probably gonna put it into a major film somewhere, right? Why not?
Well, that'd be great. That'd be nice. Yeah, I
That'd
wouldn't
be
turn
very
that
cool,
down.
no? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what did it feel for you on an Ira? You were saying that you normally write from your personal stories, but here you were writing songs that are rooted in fictional characters, and yet they do feel profoundly personal and emotionally true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where was that bridge?
Mhm.
Did you learn things from those characters about yourself, or did you awaken things in yourself during that writing process, even though you were writing about, let's say, Marilyn Monroe, but you suddenly felt a deep connection?
Yeah. I mean, I think there will always be like some form of personal connection in a sense. Like, for example, I'll Stop When I'm Done. It was quite funny when I wrote that song because for me, when I wrote it, I was like, oh, this is 100% from Marilyn's perspective. It's kind of her wanting to be in the limelight, but also all she really wanted was to be loved, was to be with someone that loved her back. And that was, she's in a lot of interviews, and she said that that's her line as well when I'm singing or saying, I just want to find someone to love. That's also a
Yeah.
quote from her. And I think this element of like, you know, those two worlds that are really hard to kind of make them gel together. And when I wrote this, I was like, oh, that's from Marilyn. And then my sister was the one that said to me, it's like, oh, is this like you trying to like prove to your mom that like what you do is actually a real thing? I was like, oh wow, okay, I didn't see that coming, you know. Because even though my mom supports me a lot, it's not that, but she finds it hard to understand the music world, and she's like doesn't really understand that what I'm doing is a real job, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So that was funny. So that kind of seeped in as a bit of a surprise for me. I was like, oh yeah, maybe she's got a point there. So that was funny.
Well, your granddaddy, but I think that's on your father's side. He was a conductor, right? Like a well-known conductor.
Correct.
But he basically said to his kids, "Don't go into music." Right?
Yeah,
Correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so so what is it like for you? Do you feel like you're carrying on some legacy, or are you healing something in your family lineage that you are like living music? You could have done many things, right? But music grabbed
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Legacy. I don't know. For me, it's just you do music as well, and it's that's exactly what you're saying. It's not really something you choose. It's just something you end up doing.
Yeah.
Because if I actually had the choice, I don't know if I would choose music because it's difficult. You know what I mean?
Right,
But I
exactly.
think if I could actually choose it. But I think for me, yeah, it feels nice because like I am the only one in my family, and I have 16 cousins. You know, it's a
Yeah.
big family,
Yeah.
and I'm the only one that do music. So for me, it's kind of cool. And also, I'm seeing like patterns of where my granddad used to be because I studied music in Liverpool in the UK, and he used to work there at the Philharmonic there for a little time because he was a conductor. And he, went to Juilliard in New York, and he's done all these like amazing things. It's cool to kind of take some of that with me for sure. And I really do feel the older I get, the more I feel connected to him.
Yeah.
And that's typical as well, isn't it? The older you understand him more and more and more the older you get.
Yeah,
For
I think
sure.
you understand a lot
Yeah.
of things. The older you get, when you're young, you can't imagine what it was like for your parents or grandparents to live the lives that they lived, or also to make the sacrifices that they made, right?
Exactly.
In their own way. And then
Exactly.
you get older, you're like, wow, like for me at least, my mom was 21 and had her first child and, bought the house and had the dog. And I'm thinking, wow, with 21, by the time she was 28, she had three kids to try to balance all that, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize
Yeah.
that you're thinking like, oh my God, I wish they understood me better. But the fact is that they were doing a lot for their time, balancing a lot of things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
For
would your
sure.
mom, what does your mom think she loves your music, she supports you. And yet what did she imagine when you were, let's say, 12 or 15? Where did she think you were going to go? Where did you
Oh, I
surprise
think
her?
she
Where did
probably
you?
saw the direction. She probably saw them because I went through all the typical things that you do as a kid when you're interested in music. Like you
Yeah.
join a cover band and you join the musical at the school and you start piano lessons and then you do choir. I did
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah.
So I think she probably saw it when I was that age. She's probably like, okay, it's happening. It's happening in that
I
direction.
have no choice. I have no
Yeah.
choice. I just got to
No,
support it.
exactly.
Exactly. You talked a little
Yeah.
bit about your
hmm
last albums, your voice being fuller. I know you have an incredibly
hmm
beautiful, full voice with big range.
Mm.
So, what
hmm
was it like for you to lean into softness and more breath and vulnerability in a world that often demands, flashy bling bling and loudness? What was it
hmm
like for you
Um,
to navigate that?
I thought it really suited the album well because we, as women, we're told to be very loud to
Mhm.
come across, to get our points across. So I thought that was quite a nice contrast to sing this album really soft, but even with the softness, I can get my point across. So I
Yeah.
thought that was also important. But I think, and also it also goes back to the characters. Like Marilyn spoke very softly, Audrey
Mhm.
Hepburn spoke very softly. Like they all had this kind of tone when they spoke. So I thought
Yeah.
it matched the whole scene. And it was interesting for as a singer, to challenge myself and sing differently. Because, again, like I wanted to reach for those notes or reach for a fuller tone. And I had to stop myself, be like, no, but
Mhm.
I'm going this direction. And
Yeah.
also when I did takes that were like maybe not like 100% perfect, but they had the emotion. And I went with those takes rather than be too concerned about everything being perfect,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
hmm
uh I think that's an important moment, right? In songwriting and
Mm.
also in performing, to realize there's something very touching when we're not melodyning or pitching or
Yeah,
perfecting or polishing, because the real life is often found in the cracks and crevices. There's something
exactly.
beautiful about listening to a voice that is, well, I mean, if I imagine you sitting on your sofa, then it also
Mhm.
helps me to relax when I'm sitting on my sofa listening to your album,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mhm.
less of a performance and a more of a allowing ourselves to be very intimate with your writing and your voice. Nice.
Mhm.
Share with
Yeah.
us a little bit
Yeah,
more
yeah, for
about your
sure.
writing process. You
Mhm.
start, did you watch all the films and then like take notes and then rewatch and get some popcorn and I mean, did you start from
Yeah.
the image, or did you start from like, or was it different for every song?
It was different for every song, I'd say. So, but the what I did with the films is like I have like either write on my phone or a notepad and I write down lines. And that happened when I started watching these films. I went, whoa, the dialogue is just so gorgeous. Like I have to write a lot of this down. So that kind of became like tradition when we put on a good movie like that, and then I, had something to note down
Mhm.
on. But that was kind of lyrically. But the other, that was, I'll Stop When I'm Done and Honey Do You See Me and some of these songs on the record. They're very much based on that. But the rest was also quite like um, research based. And what I mean by that is, and I teach this to songwriting students as well, is when you want to write a song, it's very important that you know what you want to say, because if you just sit down and you go, I'm going to write a song, and you have no idea where to begin, that's going to cause failure.
Yeah.
So you have to be nerdy about something and be interested in something. And for me, I knew that I wanted to write about the relationship I have with myself, but also women out there. And I can kind of put an example. Like I have a song on the record called "Talking," which I wanted to write a song that was about like kind of a love song, but more about how we view relationships and how we view love. And by that I mean not necessarily just romantically, but also can be with your family or or friends. And I did loads of research on this song because I wanted the lyrics to be about what considers a healthy relationship with someone and what is it that we consider being being happy with
Yeah.
someone. And love isn't as black and white as have getting butterflies in your stomach and wanting to kiss them all the time and hug them all the time. That's not what love is. And what it boils down to is like love can be disappointment, love can be difficulty, love can be maybe you're not in love with the person you love, if you make sense,
Yeah.
for some time being. But everything boils down to communication. If you
Yeah.
manage to speak well with your partner or your kids or your whatever, then that love will continue to grow and it will get stronger. So I ended up writing a song called Talking, and that's like my personal favorite song on the album because I finally managed to write a love song that I think is a true love song for that song,
Oh,
basically.
now you're making me
Yeah.
more curious to listen into it again. Exactly.
Yeah, right. That's the point, right?
Right. I mean, that's the reason to do
Yeah.
these interviews too, and to have conversations because we
Mhm.
get the backstory, and sometimes it's like the magician showing the tricks, but sometimes it's really we see it from a different lens, and that is
Yeah.
intriguing, right? And it is
Mhm.
intriguing to
Mhm.
think, again, we're both coming from voice, right? I mean, and I
Yeah.
mean, we know each other also through voice work, through songwriting, through the School of Voice, etc. And
Mm.
communication is so important. How we speak to one another, how we inspire each other through our
Mhm.
voice. So, how
Mhm.
did you worked with the producer Chris Taylor from Grizzly Bear?
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
did that collaboration influence and shape this new album for you?
Uh, it was pretty wild because him and I was his management got in touch with me in 2019 saying that he's a big fan of what I do. And for me, as a huge Grizzly Bear fan, and I had to like pinch myself and be like, this is wild because when I was 19, 20, I was a huge Grizzly Bear fan. And I've seen him live maybe like 4 times. So for
Wow.
me, to him to reach out, that was first, I was like, this is crazy. And then it took many, many years before we actually managed to work together. And the beautiful thing about Chris is that he is extremely passionate about his work and he takes it extremely seriously, very committed, and his ears are just insane. And when I explained what I wanted sonically from this album, he understood it straight away. And I knew that he was the perfect producer for this record because of the Grizzly Bear records. Because if you listen to the Grizzly Bear records, and you can, it's quite a fun thing to do. If you listen to Grizzly Bear records and then listen to mine, you hear a lot of similarities in terms of the spacing that he uses. And in production, what I mean by that is he lets a lot of air sit there in the music and he doesn't fill it up with soundscapes all the time.
Yeah.
And not only that, but also him as a bass player, because on my previous records, I don't have any bass guitar. It's all synth bass. So this one is the first one I wanted bass guitar on, because I knew it would fit the record well, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I don't play bass guitar that well. So I asked Chris if he would be up for playing bass on the record as well, and he said, yeah, for sure, I'm up for that. And then I sent him some demos without any bass synth or anything, no low end kind of instrumentation on it. And then he sent me back what he did just like in an afternoon, just like play some bass on it. And I had no notes back. I was like, this is perfect. Like you nailed it. Like I
Yay.
have no notes. And that is really rare in a collaborative setting for
Yeah.
it to go that smoothly.
Yeah.
So from him sending me that, I went, whoa, okay, this is going to be really cool. And then, I wanted to have like a fairly live sounding record. So we recorded bass, guitar, and drums at the same time. And then we added after that some synths and vocals and some strings and all that stuff. But the rhythm section will all together. And that for me was very important to do it like that, because you immediately get a more of a live feel when you do it like that. So we actually rehearsed as a band. It was me, Chris, and Tobias on drums, and my bandmate Alistair Calloway on keys and on guitar, and I on guitar, and we practiced in a practice room for like 2 days, and then we went to the studio and recorded the rhythm section
in Berlin. Did you record it in Berlin?
In Berlin.
Oh,
in Berlin,
nice.
yeah. Recorded rhythm section in Berlin. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So
Ira, we're gonna
Tricon Studios.
Oh, nice. We're gonna take a very, very short break for our lovely sponsors, and then we're gonna come back and dive more into your new album. Cool. Everybody out there, stay tuned.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
With happy clients all over the world, Kara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Kara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Kara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.karajohnstad.com and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break
because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing a job
and getting back on his feet?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Voice Rising. I'm in studio today with Ira. We're talking about her new album. And if you are enjoying the show, then share it with friends and leave us some comments out there. It really helps to get the work out there. So, Ira, we were talking about how you were recording in Berlin. Berlin is your creative home now, and it's a city that is, it's famous kind of for its raw creativity, for its history of reinventing itself. How has Berlin shaped you as an artist or as a person? How's it changed you?
It's a big question.
It's a big city.
Where to start? No, but I moved here from London, so also a big city. And in London, I kind of went on that hamster wheel where you have, because in London, the work ethic is very different than Berlin. As in, you're expected to work all the time, have no time off, and just be on that treadmill. So it took me a while when I came to Berlin to understand the Berlin way, which is a lot more about looking inwards and a lot more time to get to know yourself, basically, and not kind of constantly be running away from yourself. And I think that was the main kind of difference that I found really scary at first. But once I got into that mentality, it was really cool and interesting. And also realizing that and digging into that opened my career a lot more, because what that enabled me to do is to say yes to stuff that I found really scary, that I wouldn't have said yes to before. For example, if I was asked to play with someone and they were like, do you know how to play keys? And I go like, yeah, sure. Like, do you know how to do this? Yeah, sure. You just say like yes to stuff, and then you just practice, that's basically it. And by doing so, I was able to do music full time. I never did music full time in London. That could also be partially because of the prices, but we won't get to that. But because of that shift, I was able to, just focus on my skills and understand that I have stuff I can show, and I have talent, and I have drive, and that combined with the initial London work ethic was great for me, because I worked hard and I moved forward, but then I had time to use the Berlin side, which is also have breaks and take time for yourself and take care of your mental health. So it was a good balance, I found, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. For anybody out there, if you come to visit Berlin, people are sitting in cafes and you're wondering actually if they ever work, right? But it is simply, the city is, I mean, people do take more time to take walks on the weekend, or the famous spazieren gehen. I want to listen to one more track, and the next song that I would like to listen to is Honey, Do You See Me? And I believe it's inspired by the 1960 film The Apartment, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, very good. It feels kind of like there's this sultry, aching vibe, very beautifully restrained. You want to share a little bit more about what drew you to write this song?
Well, it was a movie, first of all. Like, I watched the movie and I thought it was quite interesting, this whole thing of her, this beautiful main character, and she was like desperately in love with this horrible man that's in charge of this huge company. He has a lot of power, and he wears an expensive suit, and it's the kind of thing of her that really wanted to be with him. So that kind of fascinated me as well, because she, in my eyes, she was so great, and I was like, why does she want to desperately be with this horrible man? And also that thing of that is, it seems to be the kind of, in some ways, some of these films, that seems to be like the kind of the main purpose is the woman getting the guy, and that's it. That kind of what's kind of that angle I liked. And then some of the dialogue is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful in that film, and I used a lot of those dialogues directly into the lyrics. And I've actually had some fans saying like, "Oh yeah, I remember that scene when she says that. I remember this." So that's quite cool that fans are kind of picking up on it. And another element that I wanted to write about was turning it into the extreme. And what I mean by that is, when you like someone, or when you really want to be with someone, it can turn into extreme in the terms of that, like, you lose yourself in the process, because all you focus on is to be with this person, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be with this person, even though in the process you lose yourself. So I wanted that manic kind of twisted thing to go into the song, and that's kind of when you hear it's like, I'm spinning, I'm losing my mind, like, come have a drink with me, let's, like, I don't really know who I am anymore. And I thought that angle I found very interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's listen. Let's listen to you spin and
Mm-hmm.
lose your mind. And Honey, Do You
Yeah.
See Me off of Ira's newest album.
Yeah.
Honey, do you see me crawling to my hotel room in the moonlight? You need to explain why you left me here. Now the lights are out. Grab a bottle and sing it out. I am spinning round, losing my mind. Blue now, pay later. My mirror is broken. I like it. The reflection makes me look the way I feel. Now the lights are out. Grab a bottle and sing it out. I am spinning round, losing my mind. Don't do this. Put down the key. I'll walk us out. Come closer. I need another kiss at the cemetery. Don't you leave me here. Let's grab a bottle, drink with me.
Think with me. Honey, do you see
Mhm.
me? So
Mhm.
you talk about this album being a study of the female experience. Was there any kind of
Mhm.
truths that you uncovered in the process of making it? Things that you might not have been
Oh yeah,
aware of before you started writing?
for sure. I think the main one for me is understanding that what you have going for yourself and what you're doing in your direction is good and good enough. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
we're often, and that goes back to this thing of having to prove yourself, and that's quite a personal journey for me because I had to work a lot on myself, especially with romantic partners, to understand that if they said, "Oh, you should do it this way," and I often
Mm-hmm.
then went, "Oh yeah, you're right. I will do it that way because you told me I should do it this way." But
Mm-hmm.
it took me a while to understand, oh, but I can say, no, I'm going to do it my way because that works for
Yeah.
me. Because
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a thing that we kind of get wrapped up in because you admire the person you're with, you respect them, hopefully respect the person you're with.
Mm-hmm.
You want to listen to their advice. But I think sometimes in the process, I've had the moments of losing myself in it all because I'm so curious and I'm not desperate, but I want to follow their advice. And that was kind of the main thing I came away with this record, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think any good artist, which you are, and any good songwriter, you're also very empathic, right? So you
Yeah.
feel into the other person and you want to create also harmony, or most musicians, they are into like finding resolution, finding harmony. And as women, we're also very conditioned also in, like you said, not always pushing our own way through. I mean, these are deep conditionings. I think it's gotten much better in the last years. But if we watch these old films, like when I sing old jazz songs, you hear the patterning of love me or leave me or let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I'll
Yeah,
love you
exactly.
only. I'd rather be lonely than happy with somebody else, right? I mean, so
Exactly.
these are really, really many, many decades of women coming into their own, trusting their own voice, right? And so I think it's really beautiful that you're taking the women that are really strong on screen and then showing also their vulnerability. Like you said, like why would somebody who's so beautiful and so smart be attracted to a partner who's not treating them well? And yet, this is a story that is happening every day, every single day.
Every day, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Every day. Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
been through it myself,
Yeah.
in younger
Yeah.
time, for sure. Been with
Yeah.
partners that bad and, I've been through it too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Crazy. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a song on this album that felt very hard to write, or one that really surprised you in the process? I mean, you talked about the song about talking, right? But is there another song that you really wrestled with?
Good question. Yeah, I think lyrically, I have a song called Bad Guys, and that for me took a while to kind of understand what I wanted to say. So it took me a while to kind of get into that headspace. But as soon as I kind of understood, and that's more of that one is kind of going back to what we was talking about before, when you have to trust your own instinct, because that's kind of from a perspective of me telling someone that, like, I know what I'm talking about. You should listen to me in this instance. And kind of when I understood that that was the journey I wanted to go on, it came ish easier. But that one
Yeah.
took me the longest to kind of complete, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also in terms of the instrumentation of it, it went through some changes. I had a longer bridge at one point. We cut it in half. We moved the verse a bit back. Like there's a lot of like a jigsaw puzzle, that one. Yeah.
What does that feel like
Which
for
can
you as a
happen.
songwriter when you have a song that has a head and feet and a tail, and then suddenly a part of it gets chopped out because it's like it doesn't work as well? Is it easy, or does it feel like there's a cut, there's something missing? Or do you say like, oh no, it needs to be gone because it just doesn't flow as well?
For me, it's fairly easy. It also feels quite liberating when you kind of get to that point where you're like, oh, let's just chop it. Like that's 100%
Yeah.
why it's not working. And when you get to that resolution, you go like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
again, like going back to what I was saying before, that I had a lot of rules for myself with this record, and I was quite strict with myself. And I went through this when I went through the songs. I'm like, okay, but this isn't good enough. Like, why isn't it good enough? I
Yeah.
never did like, oh, okay, that will do. Like I never did
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what creates a really good record, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
took the time,
hmm
right? You said 3 years
Yeah.
was the writing process, which is good.
No,
So
it
here's
was like a year and a half, the writing process, but the whole process took about 3 years from like
yeah.
start to
Okay.
finish. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's your magical question. If you could whisper one message to the younger version of yourself,
Mm,
what would you love to tell your younger self?
trust yourself more. I think.
Trust yourself more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Like trust yourself more. Like the way you are doing things works for you, and don't be afraid of that. Like because that's the thing in the music world, especially because you have people working very differently. You have some people that get up at 7 a.m. and they go to the studio and they write for like 5 hours, and then they go to the gym, and then like very structured. I've
Right.
never been that person. I've been like, oh, I'll get up and then maybe I'll do some admin and then I'll maybe write a song. Or if I don't feel like it, I won't. Like, it's just, that's kind of how I've been doing my whole life, and it's working for me. So I think for me, it's just, yeah, trust yourself more and don't be afraid of saying that out loud. Yeah.
And are there any artists or musicians or films that are feeding your creativity in this moment? Or is there anybody that you're listening to and learning from?
Well, my favorite band of all time is this band called Broadcast. They're an English band. Sadly, the singer passed away when she was only 38.
Oh my
I think.
goodness.
Yeah, but they're like my all-time favorite band. So they're always with me. And then the new stuff that's coming up, there's a guy called Cameron Winter, I don't remember where in the States he's based, but he's incredible and his voice is amazing. His lyrics are great, and he's only like 20 or something, or 21, which is crazy to me. And yeah, he's Cameron Winter. I've been listening to him a lot.
And what is it? Is it the lyrics? Is it the voice? Is it the combination of all, or is it the mystery that you don't really know what tugs at your sleeve, but it's there?
For me, melody is a big factor because obviously when you hear a song, the melodies will catch you before the lyrics usually. So
Yeah.
like the lyric is just like an extra. It makes it even better. Because I always say that about like I'm a big Radiohead fan, but I've never been a huge fan of their lyrics. So I always sometimes think like, oh, if Radiohead had like even better lyrics, wow, that would be like an even bigger explosion.
In your head.
But with Cameron Winter,
Head explosion.
Yeah, in my head.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Cameron Winter, I was just really moved by his melodies and the way he sings. He's got this super slow vibrato, which I think is really cool. And he sounds like an old man, but then he's only 20 something. There's all of these kind of factors that I love. Maybe also that adds to the mystery of it all, maybe as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for everybody out there that they're all going to go to, well, they're going to pick up the vinyl, of course, and
Yeah, of course.
Get the vinyl. I know my beautiful daughter, she's 25, and she totally loves vinyl records, and it's really lovely to see because I grew up with vinyl, but at some point I sorted them all out, and then I had the CDs, and I sorted it all out, and now it's all coming back. It's very cool. The sound is very
for
different, right? But for all those people out there playing the vinyl and listening, streaming nonstop, right? Streaming. What would you like them, or what would you hope that they would take with them or experience while they're listening to I'll Stop When I'm Done? Do you have any little golden nuggets that they can put in their pockets?
To feel a sense, when you listen to a good album and you walk down the street and you feel like you're in a movie. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
When you like listen to a really good song and you get completely taken into it and you forget about time and place. That's always my goal with my records. That's what I want people to get to. It's this element of just like completely being transformed into the music. And with this, because it's kind of got that kind of bit of cinematic feel to it, I'm hoping I can take them there even faster. That's what I want anyway. Let's see if it works out.
Yeah. Well, I think it will. And do you have any upcoming shows coming up, or where can people
Yeah.
where can people see you live?
I'm playing in London at the Lexington on the 14th of October. And then I'm playing in Berlin at LARK, LARK, on the 16th of October. And then I'm supporting Publishers Broadcasting with ERA 4 dates around Europe. So we're going to do Berlin, Brussels, Amsterdam, and Paris. So that will be the first round of shows, and then we'll see next year what happens then.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. And are you planning a new album, or are you just kind of going to bathe in the the limelight now that you finally got this released? You probably are not like a filmmaker that's 20 different albums on the at the same time. You're probably just enjoying bringing it out, right? Or do you already
Yeah,
have
I
the
mean,
next one?
I already have like an idea of the next one, because that's kind of what starts first, because you go, "Ooh, I want the next one to be ish in this world." So that's already in my mind. That happens quite quickly, but I haven't gotten that far. I have like ish one song for it. So you always keep writing, right?
Ish.
That's the whole
You always keep
that's the whole
writing.
process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so I thank you, Ira, for being with me today here at Voice Rising, for your artistry and your honesty, I guess, but your vulnerability to bring out all these beautiful tracks, your beautiful voice. Yeah, I really think that this is more than a collection of songs. It's really it is like a film track. It actually could be a film
Yeah.
track, you know? I was thinking about this.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
My brother did this film with in Berlin called what was it called? Was Charlize Theron. He wrote it, and it had all these tracks from David Bowie and all this other stuff in it. And your album, it would be interesting to see it, your album made into a film. That'd be an interesting twist,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
right? I mean,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah, normally it's they make the film and then they look for the music, but this one you could just take the album
Not with
and
this.
then right? Right.
Yeah,
or
that'd be
you
cool.
could
Would not
slip
turn
into
that
all
down.
these you could slip into all these different roles. Anyway, so thanks again for being here, and for everybody out there, go get the album or listen to the album or stream the album, and go if you're in London or Berlin, check out the shows, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.